Today on Adversity to Strength with Lee Freeman, I'm joined by Heather Gandhi, a passionate mental health advocate and author of a powerful memoir that traces her personal journey with bipolar disorder. In this conversation, Heather opens up about what it took to reclaim her life, navigating the highs and lows of her diagnosis, overcoming stigma, and building a fulfilling career and sense of happiness against the odds. Heather shares raw and honest reflections along with practical insights for anyone facing mental health challenges or supporting someone who is. Her story is one of resilience, courage, and hope. Heather, thank you for coming on the podcast today.
Thank you, Lee. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. Take us back to the beginning. Where did your journey start for you?
So it started my senior year of college. I played sports in college. I was into field hockey and soccer. So I had a great collegiate career in sports, and I was doing great at school. I have a degree in accounting, and I have a degree in accounting. I think I was almost having like a mini midlife crisis. It was my last semester of college, and I was like, oh, after this, I have to adult. I have to get a career. I have more responsibility. College is almost over. So I think that kind of led me into a spiral, like a downhill spiral, which ultimately made I had a manic episode on campus when for days. My roommate said something was off with me. I couldn't abnormal for me. There was definitely a big switch in my mindset. I was having racing thoughts. And one day on campus, I snapped. I was looking for a counselor or some sort of help on campus because I was losing my mind. And I didn't know what it was at the time. It was very confusing. Like, I didn't know why I was feeling the way I was feeling, why I couldn't sleep anymore, why I'd be going to the gym at 3 a.m. And I snapped on campus. The police came. I started yelling and throwing chairs. It was a very scary situation and very out of character for me. So I ended up getting the stretcher taken to a mental hospital where they had diagnosed me bipolar disorder. So I didn't really know much about mental health at the time. It was all new to me. I didn't know what it meant for my life or what I had to do going forward. It was like definitely the unknown. And I had also found out that bipolar disorder actually runs in my family, which made sense why I became bipolar, because it's hereditary.
Yeah, it's one of the rare illnesses, I should say, mental health illnesses, that can be hereditary. What type of bipolar disorder do you have?
I have bipolar 1, but I don't suffer from depression. It's mainly mania.
And was that your first bout of mania at that time?
Yeah, I was like yelling. I was like saying I went out of state for college, so I was kind of saying like I want to go home, like I don't belong here, like I don't want to be here anymore. And I was just like basically throwing a fit on campus because I was just couldn't hold it together anymore. I was fighting with campus police, then the real police came, and I think that at the time it's like what they say, like you can be in a house, live in a house full of matches, but until you light that match, it just like all burns down. And that's kind of what happened to me. Like I got diagnosed around 20 years old, which is usually when bipolar is like 16 to 24, I believe. So I was right around that age, and I like just snapped that in that one day. I got hospitalized for 2 weeks, and then I wasn't able to catch up on my classes. So I wasn't able to graduate in 4 years. And, I had been a tutor, an accounting and finance tutor. I had like a 3.8 GPA. So I was doing really well in school. But then I had this major setback with the mental health. So I wasn't able to graduate and walk with my class, unfortunately.
Did you go back to school and study it in the future?
I was, get my accounting degree. It took a little longer. It took 6 years instead of 4 years. But, at the end of the day, I got it done. I kept persevering. I was able to overcome my mental health, and I always knew that I needed to focus on my mental health before I could focus on school. So mental health always has to go before, what you think your timeline has to be, because it's important to take a step back and focus on your mental health. And you can still reach your goals. It's just going to be in a different timeline and not like really what you anticipated, but it's worth the wait.
Yeah, and it's a great accomplishment that you studied so hard, so much longer to get get the qualifications that you needed there as well. What was going through your mind when you were hospitalised for 2 weeks? Because not long before that, you're going along and everything seemed to be okay, and suddenly you're two
Yeah.
weeks in an institution.
So it's definitely a transition going from college to a mental health institution. I felt like I was more normal than the other people there, but I knew I had to be there to, get back on track. There was a lot of different people with severe mental health issues, and I wasn't used to being around people with mental health issues. So it was definitely an eye opener to me. But it was hard for me not to like touch grass. Like I was in like a room and like a hospital for 2 weeks without going outside. I wasn't able to be physically active like I was used to. So it was definitely crazy for me to go from one extreme to the next. It was not something I had ever imagined. My senior year of college being in a different state without my family. But
Yeah.
my roommates who are also my teammates for my field hockey teammates, they were able to visit me a lot. I think the biggest breaking point was my roommates were with me when I had like some sort of hearing to see if I could be released or not. And they told me I wasn't stable enough to be out of the hospital. It was basically something called like a 5150 hold, where you're like a threat to yourself or others. So they keep you involuntarily at the hospital, even if you want to go.
Right.
So hearing that I couldn't leave and I couldn't finish school was hard. Like I bawled. My roommates were there helping me, like talking to me through it. So I definitely appreciate the support I had from my roommates because my family were on the other side of the US when this was happening. I'm from California and I went to school on the East Coast in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. So it's on like two different ends. So
Yeah.
it was good to have support while I was going through this, but it was definitely a hard pill to swallow. Like like I thought it was gonna be over. Like I was gonna be better, or I didn't notice how it was like a lifelong thing. I was like, this is temporary, but it's not temporary, it's permanent. So I didn't really realize that.
Yeah. So when so they did the tests in the facility, and then they come back with the results. Is that right? And then I'm guessing that
Yeah.
they then told you what the results were. What were you
Mhm.
thinking when they told you the results?
I
Did it
said
mean
this
anything to
couldn't be
you?
possible. I'm a
Yeah.
normal person. Like I don't have mental health issues. But you never know when you can get diagnosed and when, things could spiral out of control. And 1 minute you're in class and the next minute you're in a hospital bed. It's a lot to handle.
So when they told you you've got bipolar disorder you're saying to them that can't be true.
Yeah. And my family, like my parents had never told me, had never like thought to mention that my grandpa was bipolar, some of my cousins are bipolar. This all came to light after the fact. So I didn't even know it ran in my family. It's like getting pregnant with twins and not knowing that twins
It's
run in the
twins in the
family.
family.
Yeah, so it's just like a shock.
When did you accept that was the case then? Was it when your parents were first notified and then they actually told you about it? I'm guessing that at the facility.
Yeah, so once I knew it ran in the family and that it was common to be hereditary, then I knew, okay, yeah, I'm bipolar. And that makes sense. And the way I was feeling all led to bipolar disorder. But it's just like hard to, like, at the time, like I wrote my book last year and I did way more like learning and educating myself about mental health. But I should have done, the thing is I should have done that right when I was diagnosed. That's when I should have done the research and looked into what I had, because I was a very educated individual, but I wasn't taught mental health in the education system.
So before you were diagnosed with bipolar or you were accepted that you had bipolar, what was your justification for the manic episode at the college? How are you explaining that away?
My manic episodes were definitely because I wasn't on any sort of medication at the time. I had flown back from college when I realized there's nothing left for me in Pennsylvania. I can't go to school anymore. I missed too much work. So I flew back to California and I had no idea what that was going to look like. Like my friends didn't know how to handle me. My parents definitely didn't know how to handle me. I didn't know how to handle myself because I wasn't on medication, the right medication. So when you're bipolar and you're manic, a big thing is not sleeping. You get in this high low cycle. Well, you'll be up for like days because you think rapid thoughts and you just cannot calm down and go to bed. So I'd be like skateboarding around at all hours of the night. And with my mania, I was getting into trouble when I was approached by the police because the police, nothing good comes after like 11 o'clock at night, and I'm
Yeah.
there at 2 a.m., 1 a.m., whatever, like late at night. So I'm skateboarding around and, they're saying in the police reports, which I had gotten the police reports to write my book. So I got the police report from Huntington Beach Police Department. And they're saying that I got pulled over or I got approached for being in a no skateboard or no biking area, which isn't a big deal usually. But when you're manic, if somebody approaches you when you're manic, well, in my case, if somebody approaches me when I'm manic and tries to make me to stop doing what I'm doing, I get aggressive, I get impulsive, I do things that I normally would not do, which is, to like cuss at them, like F off, like I'm gonna do what I want. And then you can't say that to a police officer. So they're gonna tackle you, arrest you, you're going to go to jail. That was the worst part of my mania was just my impulsiveness and like the police in the police report make it seem like I'm on a controlled substance is what they're thinking because I'm not acting normal. So they think that they're pulling me over for like skateboarding and acting crazy, but it's not because I'm on drugs. It's because I'm manic. I wish that they could tell the difference, but it's hard. It's honestly, there's some similarities to how I was acting.
When you're going through a manic phase, how are you aware of it? Does it
I
take
think
over?
over time, I can kind of tell when one is coming, but like
What's the signs when one's coming?
I think differently. I don't have a regular schedule. I talk differently. Like it's just my pupils are dilated usually. There's a lot of, I just don't act like myself. Like I'm not nice. I'm not nice when I'm manic. I'm usually a really nice person. When I'm manic, I am disrespectful. I'm angry. I'm aggressive. I'm like the Hulk sometimes. I want to fight off like every cop I can. And I have this crazy adrenaline. I won't sleep for days and I'll be like wired, like wide awake, like I'm on a bunch of caffeine or something. So, but like so when I had got diagnosed in 2014 and then I was pretty much in and out of jail for like a year and a half and then I
Yeah.
got my degree in 2016 and started working. So the first 2 years of my bipolar disorder were rough. There were times where I didn't want to go home. My friends just kind of like supported me, but didn't know how to handle my mood swings when I was like slightly bipolar. I got like a tattoo when I was bipolar, when I was manic at one point. Like I was unhinged. Like it was hard the first couple years, but then I finally got a doctor that gave me the right medication and I was able to work. I was able to get back to work after being in jail for like a year and a half and like getting in trouble with the police when I was manic. So it's nice.
With the jail, when you say jail, was that like getting arrested for something and then put in a cells, or did you actually do
Yeah.
like a sentence?
So I was in jail twice for 45 days, so a total of 3 months, which I
What
had
was that
never
for?
had any sort of criminal background before. Like I'd never been arrested before. I had like minor tickets for like traffic tickets, but never anything like assault and battery on a peace officer or, running away from the police, evading arrest and these would have been simple tickets if I were in my like right mind, but I escalated it due to my mania. And I think that the police do have to come into consideration people's mental state when they do what quote unquote crimes. Like I wasn't stealing. I wasn't hurt. Well, I wasn't hurting like random people. I was being aggressive towards cops who approached me, which I do have to take some accountability for. But I wish that like people, police officers were trained more how to handle people with mental health issues.
So you actually served 2 terms of 45 days
Yeah.
in an actual prison,
Yeah, in a jail. Yeah.
in a jail.
A county
Did
jail.
you? Yeah. Did you look around and go, how did I get here?
Yeah, it was rough because like I had been like my life took a whole 180. Like I was used to being a collegiate athlete wearing a sports uniform, and now I'm wearing a
Yeah.
jail uniform. Like it was not how I pictured my life, not somewhere I would ever be. I was always like, I don't belong here. I felt very misunderstood and misrepresented. Like I didn't that going into court, they didn't care that I was bipolar. That they said you hurt a police officer, you have to go to jail. Which, I understand that, but it was hard to be in there. I came from like a Christian background, like high standards, morals and everything. So I didn't get along with a lot of those women in there. And they were really intimidating. And I almost got beat up a couple times because they just thought I was too happy to be in jail. Like they didn't like me because I had but it's also not a good situation to be going into a jail cell with your mental health not being stable yet, because it's a
Yeah.
lot harder. It's a lot harder to get the medication you need and the help you need. Like they do have some sort of resources, but it's definitely not the place to be when you are not stable. Some nights were really difficult for sure.
Why did it take so long for them to get you on the correct medication?
Probably because it's not like a one size fits all. I think I just wasn't getting the correct help, especially because like being in jail and stuff, they're not gonna, I don't know how qualified their nurses or doctors or whatever they have in there are. They probably don't get paid a lot. So I don't think that they're like the best. Yeah. And my parents, I don't think my parents knew what to do. None of us knew what to do. So it took some time until I finally went to a different hospital with a different psychiatrist that was able to get me stable. But the problem was when I was finally stable, I started working in 2016 as an accountant, like accounts payable, accounts receivable specialist. And I was doing temp work and I was on the right medication. But when I was at the time, in the beginning, I was over medicated, which leads to drowsiness. So it's hard to last an 8-hour shift when you're nodding off and you can't do that. Your employer is going to get mad, and fire you if you can't, stay awake. So I got like let go of a couple jobs because of nodding off. Ultimately, I would tell them my symptoms and they would adjust the dosage. And then finally, I got on the right dose.
So, and what year was that you got on the right dosage then?
Probably like 2016, I've seen a drastic improvement and I was on the right type of medication, just not the right milligrams. So the first like year till 2017, I've probably been on the same dose from 2017 to now because it works.
That's what I was going to ask you. Once you're on the right medication, is that right? We've cracked it. You just need to stay on this medication forever, or do things change and you have to adjust it over time?
I definitely have just stayed consistent with it because why fix what's not broken kind of thing.
Yeah.
So since it's working, it did affect my weight, which was kind of annoying, but that's like the only bad side effect was like I have to exercise more. I have more of an appetite than I used to. So that's been a little bit of an adjustment that I just have to deal with. And then even when you're on the right medication, you still have to be aware of any symptoms that could lead to mania.
Yeah, sorry, go on, Heather.
Which gets me to my being stable until last year, 2024.
Yeah, tell us what happened there.
So I was at a wedding for my brother-in-law. My husband's Indian, so I was at so Indians go all out for their wedding. They have these extravagant, colorful, amazing weddings. And the event was in Kazakhstan,
Yeah.
and it was 3 days, 5 events. 3 days, five
Yeah.
events, and they're all like hundreds of people, and it was a great time. Like I was dancing, I got to wear Indian attire, I got to like meet, like have time with my husband's family, all his aunts, uncles, cousins. So I was having a great time, but with the time change, I wasn't taking my medication as I usually do when I'm back home in the US. So there was definitely a timing issue. And also, I wasn't sleeping because I was getting so like stimulated and amped up from all the events that I would go home at night. And while everybody was sleeping, I was wide awake. I was wide awake. I wasn't sleeping and I was going to all these events and I was getting, I was acting out of character again up until like I was good the first 2 days, but then like after not sleeping, it kind of took a toll on me after the third day. And one day I was like crying a lot because I was just so tired. I was just like, I can't sleep. I can't sleep. I don't have any. I'll take like my medication, but I was like already going through becoming mania or manic. And then the last event, I had a flight the next day at 5 a.m. because I was trying to get back to work because I don't have a lot of, leave or paid time off, PTO. So I don't have a lot of days off. So I was trying to do a quick trip, which that was like a 10 to 12 hour flight that I was doing. So I got to the airport the day after the last event of the wedding, and I had already known, like I shouldn't have gone on that flight, but I was trying to get back to work. So I was just like, I'll be fine. They kept telling me, you need to sleep, you need to sleep, you need to sleep. My mother-in-law and my husband were like, you really need to sleep. And I was like, oh, I'm just gonna sleep on the plane. I don't sleep well on planes. I don't sleep well sitting up. Like I need to be laid down. So I get on the plane, or before I even get on the plane, I notice signs of mania in the airport. Like I'm going to get a massage. I'm spending money on makeup that I already have. Like another sign is like spending. Like people with mania
Yeah.
sometimes spend money when they're manic. So I'm buying perfume, makeup. I'm getting a massage at the airport. And I'm like, this, usually I would just get a coffee and like sit down and just chill. Then when I was on the plane, I'm pacing back and forth. Like I'm pacing the plane.
And
Then
down the plane.
eventually walking up and down the plane. Most of them are sleeping. Some of them aren't. Some of the people are getting pissed at me. I can't sit still. I can't even sit and watch a movie. Like I'm manic. I'm manic at this point. So they get a therapist to talk to me, but I didn't like how he was talking to me. Like he was like, did you have your medication today? I was like, yeah. And then he's like, how are you feeling? I was like, I'm feeling like I can't sleep and I want to sleep. And so then eventually I just say, I'm fine, just leave me alone, So they land the plane. I get off the plane, I'm crying. I'm like, this was the flight from hell. Like I was mistreated by the flight attendants. They were getting mad at me, I was really upset. Then I get to the airport in Istanbul and I'm like wired still. Like I can't sleep. I need sleep. I just want to get on that next plane, get home, go see my psychiatrist when I get home. That the worst part is this was a rookie mistake. I forgot my medication on my carry-on, which is like if you have mental health, if you have any sort of medication, you need to carry it on your carry-on.
Yeah.
Mine was in my check bag. My medication was in my check bag, which is not good. So Istanbul airport is pretty big. It's a pretty big airport. So my mother-in-law encourages me to get to the gate. Just get to the gate. And I'm like, okay, like I'm not doing so hot right now. Like I'm having a mental breakdown, but I'm gonna get to the gate. I'm gonna get something to eat. I'm gonna get some water. I'm gonna try to do my best to not let this spiral out of control. Then everything that could go wrong did go wrong. I got to the gate. I was the first person there. Security was fine with me. I get through security. I was one of the first people at the gate. There's like no Turkish Airlines employees. I'm like, oh, I need an employee. It's just all security. So the security never had an issue with me. So then I told Turkish Airlines, I need you, once the rep came, I said, I need you to pull my bag. Like, this is a medical emergency. I need you to pull my bag. I'm not doing good. Like, I'm not okay. So they don't tell me where my bag is. They don't tell me. I watch the plane have fill up with people, have everybody go, have the plane leave without me. I'm sitting there like crying, like, where's my bag? That was my flight home, that I was first one there and last one there as well. And it just left without me. And I shouldn't have gotten on the plane anyways. That was a long flight. I wouldn't be good on that plane. So then the Turkish airline employee doesn't tell me where my bag is. I have like a Turkish airline rep following me around. I'm like trying to dodge them, like, and then at one point they put me in a wheelchair and they wheel me over because my dad told me just go with them. So I go with them to the wheelchair area. These people are all actually like handicapped. This is like wheelchair accessibility. I'm like, are there any doctors here? Like, are there any psychiatrists? Are there any doctors? Are there any therapists? Are there anybody that could actually help me? They said no. I said, well, I can walk, so I don't need to be here. Like, I'm sorry for all the people in the wheelchairs, but I shouldn't be in the wheelchair area. I'm not handicapped. I'm just going through like a mental health crisis at the time. And then at one point, the airline employee takes my passport. I walk away, they come after me, they take my passport. And I said, no, that's mine. I grab it, I run into the closest line that I could, and I get through the checkpoint to what ended up being the baggage claim. I ended up at the baggage claim in the airport, and then it said Turkish Airlines lost and found. I said, I need to go there. Something in my head told me I need to go there. I found my baby blue suitcase and I was so relieved. I was like, I'm getting my medication right now. Like, I need it. But then I was too far gone. It was too late.
Even take the medication, it's still too late. You're still going to carry on. You took the medication. You took the medication.
I took the medication. I ripped open my suitcase. I took the medication. Then I was trying to get somewhere to sleep at this hotel. I was trying to get somewhere to sleep. There's only one hotel in the airport, and I'm not going out of the airport. I'm having a manic episode. I'm not leaving the airport in a foreign country where I don't know where I am.
Oh, yeah.
So I get to the hotel. I'm demanding a room. They deny me service because I'm like not acting properly. So all I wanted was some sleep. So I wasn't able to get a room. Then the police came to escort me out of the hotel because I was like demanding a room. They wouldn't give it to me. I was like, I'll pay whatever it is. Like, just let me sleep. They didn't want to serve me. They denied me service, which is okay because, I was acting out of whack, So
yeah.
So the police eventually dragged me across the airport into like a detaining place. They like rip open my purse, look at my passport, look at my IDs, look at everything in my purse. I have no drugs on me. I don't do drugs. Like, they could tell that I'm from California, that I have a US passport, and they're trying to intimidate me, but some of them don't speak English, which is like obvious because they're Turkish. They speak Turkish. And so they end up detaining me. They end up taking me to another place, like a police place. And in California, in the US, if you get arrested, you have a phone call. I don't think that's a thing there, but I'm like, let me have my phone call. Like, I need a call. Like, people are looking for me. And I didn't have my phone on me because they were like, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law, everybody was like, keep your phone charged, keep your phone on you, because they want to know I'm lost. At one point at the hotel, I said, I am a missing person. Like, I am a missing person. I'm not missing luggage. Like, I'm a missing person. I'm not in California where I'm supposed to be. So when I got detained, I was telling them, I want my phone call. People are looking for me. People care about me. I'm in a bad situation. And when I wrote my book, my mom even said she called the American embassy on me, like, to tell them like what was happening. Like, I'm stuck in Turkey. And don't get me wrong, the people were great there. If I was in any other country, I could have been in even like way more trouble.
Yeah.
So eventually they let me go and they were being like a little aggressive with me, obviously, because I was being aggressive back. But they eventually let me go and give me a taxi back to the airport where I have to wait for my husband who's catching like the first flight out to me. Then they end up taking me in an ambulance. I am still saying like I'm a crazy American, don't F with me, like all that. I and then they end up trying to give me, I think it was like a CT scan, like a scan of my brain because I was just so crazy. And then when they're about to give me the CT scan, I see my husband pull up. Yeah, I see my husband through the window saying like that's my wife, like let her go, like, and he basically signed off on me to go with him. And then that's when he had an acquaintance that knew about a mental health facility to take me to. And that's where I was for 10 days.
10 days. It sounds exhausting. It sounds like you know what's happening. It's like a race against time. You're in the middle of this manic phase, but you're still trying to get and do what you need to. And it's like nobody's listening to you, paying attention to you, nobody understands you. It must be so frustrating. And then you're looking for your bag
Yeah.
in Lost and Found.
Yeah, it just like nobody it came to a point where I said, Heather, nobody is going to help you. You need to help yourself. That's what was going in through my mind. I know I'm going to be, but I need to get myself out of the situation as bad as it gets. I need to get myself out of the situation. That's what I was thinking.
What happened after the 10 days in the facility in Turkey?
So my mother-in-law and my husband were there in Turkey, went to Turkey to keep an eye on me, bring me food. I was starving. I didn't like the food in Turkey, the hospital food in Turkey. I barely like the hospital food here, but they would come every day and bring me food. I still lost like 12 pounds in 10 days being there. But then my mother-in-law had to go home. My husband was there the whole time. And then my mom came the last day, my release date from the hospital. And then after I flew back the next day. After I flew back, I got right back to work that Monday. I was right back to work like nothing ever happened. That's why I call it my book Bouncing Back from My Bipolar, because I really do bounce back as low. I can get as low as I can go, but I will bounce back on top like nothing ever happened.
And since then, you've not had any more manic episodes at all?
No, nobody can even tell. Most people can't even tell I'm bipolar. I openly tell people like, yeah, I'm bipolar, but they would never know. They would never know. I just like people think like I have the easy life. Like I have the career, I have the husband, I have a good family, I have nice friends, like I'm athletic, like life looks picture perfect from the outside, but I had to go through some crap to get to
Oh,
this life.
that's a lot. That's a lot. That's a lot. You've been through a lot.
Yeah, and people you can never tell. It doesn't get to me. Like it doesn't get to me. It doesn't put me back. Like I accept that it's part of who I am. It's part of my DNA. It doesn't define me. But I still live like a happy, successful life regardless of my mental health. I don't let like my husband doesn't let bipolar be a crutch. Like, oh, I'm doing this because I'm bipolar. No, you're doing this because you don't want to do it. It's like you don't let it be an excuse for anything.
Yeah, it's a really good, strong mindset you've got. You said that you're like trying to make people more aware of mental health and bipolar disorder. What are you doing now then, and what's your plans for the future when it comes to that?
Well, I wrote my book. I do fundraiser walks through NAMI, which is National Association of Mental Illness. I go to support groups, DBSA. It's called Depression and Bipolar Support Alliance. I go to different groups. I go to fundraiser walks for mental health. I tell people openly about my mental health so that if they have mental health issues as well, they can come to me and ask me for advice because I want to be like peer support. I just want to make mental health something not to be ashamed of, to break the stigma, to do, talk openly about it because I do have a really great life regardless of my mental health. And I just want to show people, life can be good regardless of, what cards you're dealt in life.
I think with what you're doing and the openness that you have with your story, it will really help a lot of people because your manic times have been really manic. I mean, look where they landed you in a facility, in jail a couple of times, and then in Turkey, or went on there. So for people to listen to somebody's story, just about how extreme it could go. Even going to the airport, getting a massage, spending money, which is a real common one there as well. But to hear your
Hmm.
story, I think a lot of people will be able to relate to it. And the fact that you won't let it define you, and you're able to accept it, live the life that you want to lead while maintaining the actual bipolar itself. I think that is really going to resonate with a lot of people. It's been such an interesting story to listen to. I'm listening to the story and I'm like, oh, I wonder what happened next. Oh my God, what did she do
Yeah.
next?
I was unpredictable, that's for sure.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, but it's you can build the picture so clearly there as well, and it's so interesting to listen to your manic episodes as well as how you overcome them and how it took to get there as well. I really thank you for coming on, Heather. It's been brilliant having you on. One final thing that I always ask and said at the start, and I'm really interested in this, is if there's a particular song or songs that resonate with you on your journey at a particular time or just in general, what are they? I'd love to know what yours are from what you were saying
Uh,
earlier.
yeah, mine is Three Little Birds by Bob Marley. And they say every little thing is gonna be all right. It's kind of one of the sayings I say to myself, like this truth shall pass. So like everything is gonna be fine. It's just temporary. Things are gonna get better. And another one that was my all-time favorite in jail was called Dancing in the Moonlight.
That's top loader, that is. I think they were British, Dancing in the Moonlight. I used to work as a doorman in a nightclub, and at the end of the night, when they put the lights on, they would always put Dancing in the Moonlight at the end. Single
Yeah,
night.
that always put me in a good mood for some reason, and I always like loved singing that.
I will have both those songs added to the description there, along with the link for your book there, and obviously anything else that you want to add there as well. Heather, thank you so much for your time. It's been brilliant having you on the podcast.
Thank you, Lee. I had a good time.
Thank you.